Okay, one of the things that you need to remember about all problems is that every problem is going to give you enough information in order to solve it.
Hello everybody, this is Country Boy Rick, and I'm going to show you how to find the area of an octagon. Are you ready? There are two problems that are just like this, where you have to find the area of an octagon on your geometry test, like number 6, and then over in the back, there's number 19. This is not as hard as you think it is, especially if they give you a number that helps you figure out the perimeter already. Okay, let's go. Right, if they give you an octagon and they want you to find the area, what do you think is the first thing that you're supposed to use? Well, if you're a smart person like myself, you would say, you know what? Don't they have one of them there formulas for this type of problem? Well, yes, they do. The formula for an octagon is the same as the formula for a pentagon and a hexagon and a dodecagon. You know how many sides are in a dodecagon? I think it's like 12. Let me see, if I count my fingers, I don't really have enough fingers to count to 12, but you know what I'm talking about. So yeah, I usually use my ears when I have to count to 12, all right? So an octagon or any other gun only works with this formula if it is a regular polygon, which means that all the sides have to be the same. And you know, if all the sides are the same, the problem is just that much more easier. All right, so the formula for this problem is going to be the area of a polygon, I use P for polygon, is equal to the apothem times the perimeter divided by 2. Okay, the apothem is this line that goes from the center of the polygon and it is perpendicular to one of the sides. You can actually draw more than one, depending on how many sides is how many different apothems you can draw. Okay, so there's the apothem, and then you should know the perimeter is all the area around the polygon, all right? Okay, so what happens if they don't tell me the apothem, but they tell me something about these sides right here? What am I supposed to do then? Well, let's see. Right here, it says that I have a perimeter of 88. So that means that if I add up all of these sides, I am going to get a perimeter of 88. Now the question is, how long is each side? What you think? All right, so if I take this 88 and I divide it by the number of sides, I'm going to figure out how long each one of those sides are. So in this case, that's going to be what? It's going to be 11. Yep, 11. See, I know some of y'all don't know this, but this is how you pronounce it. You pronounce the word 11. All right? So I have 11. So each side is 11. All right? And now, in order for me to figure out the apothem, I have to divide this octagon into triangles. Now, normally you would divide it into 8 separate triangles, which, I mean, you can if you want to. I know by now you're noticing that my polygon is probably much prettier than your polygon, and it's okay. I don't want you to get overwhelmed with jealousy and envy and become a hater, all right? But I want you to divide your much uglier polygon into 8 shapes. And what we're gonna do from there is, since this is a regular polygon, all these 8 triangles are the same. Now that information is going to help us to figure out some angles. And once we figure that out, then we will be able to get rocking with this problem. Because if you notice, all of these triangles form a circular pattern. And to be perfectly honest, if you look at the center area, you can literally draw a circle in the center. Now the question is, if I know how many degrees are in a circle, I can figure out how many degrees are gonna be in this triangle's top part right there, all right? So take a minute and see if you can figure that out, and I'll be right back, all right? So for my common sense honor corps, they were like, well, hey, if I take that 360 and divide it by 8, it's gonna give me the number that I need for this angle right here, right? So what's 360 divided by 8? 360 divided by 8 is equal to 45. So that means that this angle right here, I'm gonna put a double mark on it, is equal to 45 degrees. So I can use that to my advantage, because now I have enough information that I can use trigonometry to find that apothem. Because look what happens if I take my triangle, the apothem splits it in half and it forms two right triangles. All right, no, you're like, Mr. Haley, what's up with all this math? But look, you gotta understand that sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so I have decided that I'm going to use the 45 up here, because if I use this number for the 45, then that means I don't have to do all this extra work. But in order for me to use that, I have to take half of 45. And guess what the calculator is going to tell me what half of 45 is? 22.5. So I have 22.5, and then I have this apothem that I don't know. And then I need to figure out how far across that is. So that's actually going to be half of that 11, right? What's half of 11? 5.5, yep. No calculator. Alright, so now we have to do trigonometry to find the apothem. So, we used the perimeter to figure out that each side was 11. And then we counted up the triangles on the inside to figure out what that top angle was. And then we split this triangle in half so we can get a right triangle, so we can do SOHCAHTOA. Y'all remember SOHCAHTOA?
Sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Then we draw the triangles. Cosine is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And then tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent.
And we're going to use one of these to find that apothem, all right? So which one are we going to use? Well, first thing we need to do is we need to label the hypotenuse. And then since I'm using this angle right here, which is 22.5, because that was half of the 45, we are going to find the opposite of that angle, which is over here, 5.5. And then the apothem, happens to be the adjacent. So hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. All right, so since we are looking for the apothem, and I know that this side here is 5.5, which of these functions will I use to solve for the missing apothem number? All right, so we have sine, cosine, and tangent. Think about that for a second. You will see that since we're going to be using the opposite and the adjacent right here, opposite and adjacent, we're going to use tangent, because tangent is the one that uses opposite and adjacent. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to write tan of the angle that we're looking at, which is 22.5. Oh, Lord. All right, so we're going to use tangent of 22.5. And that's going to be equal to the opposite over the adjacent. The opposite is 5.5. And the adjacent, we don't know. So I'm just going to leave that as A, because that's my apothem. That's what I want to know. All right, so if I look at my triangle, it helps me figure out how I'm going to do this math. So wherever my missing part is, which in this case is right here, and if I block that off, it tells me, am I going to multiply or am I going to divide? And it looks like I'm going to divide. So what am I going to divide? In order to get my A, I have to take 5.5 and divide it by tangent of 22.5. Now this is something that you should do in the calculator. Now your calculator needs to be in the right mode. If you look, mine is in degrees because I'm a boss, all right? So I am going to use the function that lets me put the actual fraction in the calculator. 5.5, 10, 22.5. Let the calculator do all that hard work, and ooh, look at that. I am the man with the master plan. I got the horses in the back, sunroof top, digging on the scene with a gangster lean. That's my remix right there, all right? So y'all don't know nothing about that. So that's my possum. Now, if you're having a hard time saying the word possum, you have to say it like one of them rich white people, you know what I'm saying? You have to be like,
Possum. You must say it like that. Possum.
Alright, so I got my possum. And now I can use this to solve for the area. E possum times perimeter divided by 2. Alright, let's see if you can do that.
Alright, we're about to finish up this thing right here. So we're going to get this possum, which is 13.28. And we're going to multiply that by the perimeter, which the problem said was 88. And we're going to divide that in half.
If you're doing this using the fraction function, then it's a lot easier. But if you're not, then make sure you take the 13.28 and multiply it by the 88. And you calculate that separately, and then you take half of that answer. So that gives me 1,168.64 divided by 2, which in this case is equal to 584.33. And that's units to the second power because this is error. All right.
And that is how you get it done. This is Country Boy Rick. And I know this seems like a lot of work, but I've been going slow so people can follow. And the amount of time it took me to record doing all this work, I probably could have done about 10 or 15 of these problems. And the only reason it is because I practice so much that it's just like second nature. You know what I'm saying? Alright? So don't think that this is a very hard problem. There are steps. Yes, steps. And what were those steps? First, you look at the number of sides, divide the shape into triangles, right? And then you have to find the apothem. Sometimes you might have to find the side, who knows? But however you do that, you must know dividing the number of sides by 360, which will give you a triangle with an angle number of whatever that was. And then you take that triangle and you divide it into 2 right triangles so that you can find whatever side you want to find, which you can find any side that you don't know using trigonometry. Alright? So you divide, and then you divide again, and then you conquer. Alright? Because you're a boss. So go on and get to work.